Physical hazards on a job site are obvious. You can see a crane swinging out of control or a trench collapsing. But the most dangerous threat to a construction firm is entirely invisible, buried on page 4 of a signed agreement. Many professionals treat construction contracts as mandatory legal paperwork to file away before breaking ground. In reality, these documents are the primary survival tools that dictate whether a firm stays solvent when a project goes sideways. This pie chart shows how the Florida Contractors exam breaks down. 39% focuses on contract administration, evaluating your ability to manage risk. At its core, a contract is a risk allocation document, assigning financial responsibility between contractor and owner for every delay or disaster. Treating this agreement as a simple legal checkbox instead of a strategic financial weapon exposes a firm to unmitigated ruin. If you sign the wrong contract type, you absorb liabilities you cannot afford. Every project agreement is governed by a central tension, the strict trade-off between price certainty and scope flexibility. You cannot maximize both at the same time. Optimizing for a perfectly predictable budget requires locking in exact specifications up front. Doing so inherently destroys your ability to seamlessly evolve the building's design once construction begins. Before a single piece of equipment arrives on site, the agreement must definitively answer one question: who pays when the unexpected happens? Mastering this specific trade-off aligns the incentives of everyone involved. It establishes clear rules of engagement and prevents catastrophic disputes over money and delays later down the line. The lump sum, or fixed-price contract, is the industry's default standard. Because of its straightforward structure, it appears to be the simplest way to do business. The mechanism is highly rigid. The contractor agrees to deliver a strictly defined scope of work for one single immovable price, regardless of how long the job actually takes. Take Carlos, a GC working on a standard commercial project. A GC is a general contractor, the primary entity responsible for the day-to-day oversight of a construction site. Because Carlos has flawless, finalized blueprints, he knows exactly what materials and labor the building requires. This model provides the owner with absolute maximum cost certainty. They know exactly what the final invoice will be, which creates a highly predictable path for securing financing. For Carlos, the primary benefit is operational upside. If his crews work faster than estimated, or if he sources materials under budget, his firm retains 100% of those financial savings as pure profit. However, the hidden danger is severe. The contractor absorbs all financial liability for poor initial estimates, hidden site issues, or sudden spikes in material prices. If lumber triples in cost, Carlos pays the difference out of his own pocket. Lump sum contracts heavily reward perfect execution. Conversely, they severely punish contractors for any unknown variables or estimation errors. The cost-plus contract exists as the direct inverse response to the rigid dangers of the lump sum model. It prioritizes adaptability over strict budgets. The mechanism here is an open book. The owner reimburses the contractor for all actual, verified project costs, plus an additional agreed-upon fee to cover overhead and profit. Consider Brian the builder. He is tasked with a complex plumbing scope, but faces completely unknown underground conditions. A lump sum bid here would require massive, expensive guesswork. The ultimate benefit of Cost Plus is total flexibility. The design can evolve as Brian uncovers obstacles, while his profit margin remains fully protected against inflation or unexpected labor hours. The trade-off is that massive risk is transferred directly to the owner. Without a fixed ceiling, the owner faces direct exposure to theoretically infinite, runaway budget overruns. This also places a heavy hidden burden on the contractor. Cost Plus requires a massive administrative tax. Your accounting team must meticulously track, justify, and audit every single material receipt and hourly timesheet to prove the expenses are valid. Cost Plus buys essential flexibility in volatile environments, but it demands a steep price in administrative bloat and complete loss of price certainty for the owner. To solve the extreme risks of both prior models, the industry relies on the Guaranteed Maximum Price, or GMP contract. This is a sophisticated structural compromise. It operates exactly like an open-book cost-plus contract, reimbursing actual expenses and fees, but it introduces a firm, impenetrable ceiling on total project costs. This chart illustrates how a GMP operates. The owner is protected from infinite costs by the maximum cap. while the contractor retains the ability to mobilize crews and begin work before the final designs are fully complete. The complication lies in the fine print. Negotiating which expenses hit that cap requires intense oversight. By contractually sharing unspent balances below the cap, the owner directly encourages the contractor to operate efficiently. GMP contracts balance risk securely for both parties, but they require high-trust relationships and advanced, rigorous accounting to function properly. Finally, time and materials, or T&M, alongside unit price contracts, are highly specialized models reserved strictly for extreme edge cases. In these agreements, pricing is generated strictly by the actual hours worked in the field, or by the exact measurable units of material installed. Their primary advantage is speed. A firm can immediately mobilize crews for emergency repairs or exploratory demolition without waiting for a detailed estimating process. While T&M offers unparalleled speed, the final invoice remains entirely unpredictable. This places the maximum possible financial risk squarely on the shoulders of the owner. Defining these contracts is only step one. The real skill is actively deploying them against real-world scenarios. This flowchart maps the primary diagnostic question every project must begin with. Is the scope of work 100% defined? If the plans are flawless, follow the yes path, execute a lump sum agreement. If the design is incomplete, follow the no path to protect against volatility. You then ask, does the owner require a strict budget ceiling? If a ceiling is required, select GMP. If flexibility is the priority, select Cost Plus. There is no universally superior contract in the construction industry. There is only the mathematically correct contract for a specific set of project variables. A carefully selected contract creates total project alignment, establishing exactly how risks are shared before ground is ever broken. The ultimate professional standard is discipline. A contractor must walk away from agreements that force them to accept uncontrollable risk they are unequipped to handle. Mastering this matrix is an absolute requirement to pass the Florida licensing exam, but the stakes extend far beyond the testing center. Mastering risk allocation secures your professional license and provides the ultimate shield for your business's financial survival in the real world.